through all of my efforts.
That's true.
I've
Hey,
lost
everybody.
40 pounds.
Oh yeah. Hey everybody.
Thanks.
It's time
Hey,
for
we're
Ace
talking about
Attorney.
eggnog.
We were talking about eggnog. I've never had an eggnog,
talking-
and Josh can't nog this year, unfortunately.
I might have a nog.
One nog.
Again, I'm just worried that I'll drink one eggnog, then fly into like
You'll
a
never be able to
fervor, you know?
stop.
Like I'll froth at the mouth, and then I'll wake up and I'll be like, no, my efforts.
They've been in
Oh,
vain.
what was I walking for? Why have I even been bothering? So I don't want to do that. I probably won't do
I know. I feel like I've
assume
heard that a
I'm
lot
an
of people
adult.
that go on diets, like if you cut out sugar and stuff a lot from your life, like you go back to it, and it's like, ugh. Like
Yeah.
it feels
Well, I
bad,
mean-
which is how it should feel in the first place.
Yeah, it gets a little weird sometimes. It's like how if you go vegetarian, you like for the most part just completely stop craving meat.
Right.
Greg Groots, greedy
Yeah.
Greg Granny. Speaking of Groots, he's a little tree guy.
He's a little tree guy. I'm trying to remember exactly
He's
what
in the
happened.
Marvel Secret Lair.
He's saying that he didn't
He's
actually
lying
see it.
currently. He's like, oh no, I didn't see the guy come back from the death because like he can't reveal that he did see that because if he did, then she no longer has a reason to lie to cover
Exactly.
his ass.
Based on
So
what I
I'm really
said.
hoping that Scythe didn't actually do anything besides get blackmailed and do a false report
Yeah.
because I
Well,
don't
I
want
guess
her to
we can-
like
I
be
don't think we pressed
executed or
this, did we?
whatever. I don't know. Did they ever clarify in this one if everyone who gets found guilty dies immediately? Like
I
in
don't
the other
think so.
games where they're like, well, like we're gonna feed you to the sharks.
Hold it. A fellow grave robber? What are you talking about?
Beep boop. I should if I was cool, I would have like rig up a way to like fucking
Or like a
Microsoft
robot
Sam this
filter or
voice.
something.
No, not even a filter. I would just fucking I would just type it out. Every line would be me going, wait a second, and slowly typing because I was bad at keyboarding class. They told us about the home keys. I can't listen. I absorbed the lessons. I got through the class. Can't do it. Can't do it. Can't touch type. Can't figure it out. Never have.
I didn't know that.
Never
about
will.
You.
I can use a numpad. You want
Yeah,
to
I
use
think that's just
numpad? That
I
shit's
think that's an
crazy.
essential skill if you have a job that involves math at all.
Oh god, I can crank out numbers with a numpad. Well, a 10 key. A 10 key is what we say in the biz.
Yeah, no, you know, years of retail working at registers, I'm pretty good at the 10 key also.
In the biz. Well, I wasn't the only one in the cemetery that night, you know. Other body snatchers were at work. Of course, when I saw one emerging from the hole he'd dug, my heart very nearly stopped. So that's the terrifying sight I actually saw, you see. You're claiming it was just another student on equally insalubrious business as yourself. That's the second time this game has used insalubrious.
Is it? That's crazy.
Well, at least this series. Because I remember the first time I had to say it and I went, what? It's like they had like a fucking, like a thesaurus and they're like, we gotta use we gotta work, we have got a word
talks
limit.
like an asshole. We need to find better words.
Any of the medical students would wear metal masks to protect them from bacteria during dissections.
Uh-huh.
Clearly, the fellow was using such a mask to protect his anonymity, wouldn't you say?
Objection. But there's more to the story, isn't there? The article goes on to say, in the next second, a gunshot rang out suddenly from behind. Yeah, I forgot about that part. The bullet pierced the resurrected man's chest, whose breath then stilled once more.
So Odie Assman's definitely the guy that shot, right? Like, wait, no, because maybe.
He wrote the article, but we don't know.
He wrote the article. We don't know if he was there or not yet.
Yeah.
We don't have any evidence on that end. I kind of hope he was. He just fucking blasted the guy.
Bang, bang, bang. Oh, speaking of, I've got a new redeem setup that I finally fixed. Hold
okay,
on,
good. I was gonna say, if you were about to say, speaking of, I shot your kitchen, I was gonna lose it.
Let's see if it works, because I tested it before the stream and it was working fine, but you know. Well, that'll come up eventually, probably.
We might assume that the sexton discovered the miscreants at work, perhaps, and fired upon one of them.
If a gravedigger had shot someone in the cemetery, I think it might have been rather big news, my lord.
Ah, yes, well. I can only assume that it was an embellishment bolted on later by the reporter.
Hold on, I heard a French noise. What was that about? Excuse me.
Just from quietly. That's like two people. So you think? Is that what you're saying?
Madam Two Spells. Don't take it out on Mr. Sholmes.
No, they didn't.
Pardon.
Fuck off, man. I can't believe they were how long were they sitting on this, do you think, in the writer room? Their grubby little hands just like steepling, wiggling their little fingers like, ooh, it's finally time.
I have to save it. Okay, well, I'm gonna do a manual one of these.
Big titty.
Hold on. Is kitchen gun done? I don't know what's happening with kitchen gun.
No, I pressed a different button. Hold on, can I play it again?
Oh no, I tried to tune in the stream to see kitchen gun. Oh, I've gotten bigger again.
I finally remembered.
It had to happen. It had to happen eventually.
Right,
nothing good lasts forever. Hold on, I'm tuning in to see kitchen gun.
There it is. Eh? I literally tested this immediately before the stream and it worked fine. That was Among Us.
Huh.
What the hell? Okay, well, I guess it's not working. Whatever.
Alright, there is no kitchen gun.
There is no kitchen gun.
Ooh la la. Pardon? Ooh la la. I was lost in my thoughts.
Would it be fair to say that Mr. Drebber's last remark was significant to you in some way?
I thought it was a little strange, that's all. How Monsieur Drebber can claim this now? If you don't mind me saying, madame, what are you talking about? Well, when I met you 10 years ago at your university dormitory, you accounted to me about your adventures in the cemetery, no? Including the gunshot. Bang, bang!
Bang,
Bong,
bang,
bong.
bang.
Stop.
Whoa.
Oh, he's losing it. You might want to watch your tongue, you know.
Objection! No!
Fuck you! I'll kill you where you stand. I'm the Reaper. I'm the Reaper, baby. I don't know why I lost his accent entirely, but oh god, it's happening again. Where my brain, there's too many people in this room. Hold on, give me a second.
Too many people, too many dumb voices.
I know. My brain's just like, wait, which one is this? Who is this guy again? It's okay. I've had this happen before in Dungeons and Dragons, where I'm like, oh no, I've put 4 NPCs in this fucking room.
Oops.
Gotta be careful. Have a care, Dreb. That's no way to speak to a lady. I'm as chivalrous as I am racist, you know. They are sides of the same coin.
Carry on. I'm a southern gentleman in the truest sense.
Oh no. You just, in the distance, you just hear, I don't agree with that. according to what Monsieur Weber told me at the time. It's getting worse. He did hear a gunshot from behind him, and the bullet hit the condemned man. I said nothing of the sort. No, you are very explicit about the details. It also doesn't help. I think we talked about this last time, but have you seen any clips of Very Important People yet?
I have not.
It's one of the Dropout shows.
It's one of the ones
Damn.
I need to get around. I finally got around.
You
to
haven't
getting
even
a
seen the
Dropout
clips?
Subscription. If that's the one where, is that the one where it's like who is invited to the cookout and it's and Piccolo because he's black, obviously. Is that
no?
show,
That's
or is that
Smarmy Pants.
Ah, okay.
Very Important People is the one where they dress one of the people up, and then that person has to make a character, and then they get interviewed by Vic Michaelis.
Mercy.
You would know it if you saw it. It's genius. There's one that Brennan's on once, and they make him look like a crazy like caveman kind of like he's got they put a big massive beard on him, and he carries around a box of rocks, well, briefcase of rocks. His name is Ogbert. It's a whole. You gotta watch it.
I'll put it on.
But anyways, there's one where Jacob Wysocki and Kimi, last name I don't know, are do like bad in quotes French accents, and I think about it a lot. It's so good.
It's what you have to channel.
Yeah, I'm trying. It's way worse at it. Way worse. But yeah, I really need to tune in to watch that show, because like I said once, my brother loaned me his login info, but I've just not. He sent that to me like 3 months ago, so it's about time that I finally actually try using it. That's usually how it works. He gave me his Disney Plus login, and then like 2 years passed before I used it. He's like, "You got to watch The Mandalorian." I'm like, "Oh, for sure." And he gave me the login info, and then 2 years later, I logged in to watch X-Men, the cartoon.
And
I've still not seen any episodes of. Nope, sure haven't. I don't know, man. I think sometimes I'm just afraid of quality or something. Like, sometimes there's a show where I'm like, man, I would really like that show. I can't ever watch it. I don't. It happens more than I'd like to admit. Like Arcane, every time I see something from Arcane, I'm like, that looks fucking awesome. I'm never gonna watch it. I can't. I don't know. I feel maybe
listen, man, there's a lot of new shows on, but I'm in here rewatching Yu Yu Hakusho.
I thought that's what that was. I can normally tell what you're rewatching based on what you begin posting screen caps of. And I saw that one. I was like, it must be. Yeah, I was like, it must be a Yu Yu Hakusho. Because you did that bad year tire and then something else. I was like, I see. I was rewatching something recently. I'm not really watching a show right now. Well, I'm watching Bake Off. I'm on the Bake Off grind. Every Friday. Great British, little British. It's a good show because it's one of those ones I can bring up when people ask me. Like people that I don't know that well, where they're like, "What do you watch?" I'm like, "I watch Bake Off," and then all the time, people are like, "Oh my god, I love Bake Off." I'm like, "I know, right? I know because we're of similar demographics. We're both middle-income white people. I know that you love Bake Off. We all do." Have you seen the clip of Bake Off? I'm going on a tangent. Have you seen the clip of Bake Off? They had, and I remember this episode happening when it dropped on Netflix. But they did a Mexican week. And these British people did not know. God, first of all, they kept saying tacos, which is crazy. But worse, they gave them avocados. So there's like Bake Off has like a mystery challenge. The round 2 of each episode is like, you have to make this thing with limited instructions, and you didn't know beforehand. And here's the ingredients. And I believe in that they like had avocados as one of the like ingredients for the mystery thing they had to make. And one lady peeled it. She peeled the avocado. A few of them, at least one cut entirely through the pit, I believe. They truly, it was a disaster. Idea. And I really hope Molo guy saw it, because I assume it's even funnier if you're even more, because like I'm just American, but like even I was like appalled by some of the things that happened. It was really funny. I don't know, I don't want to make anything up. I feel like I remember them saying some commentary about the dishes too that was like wild, where they're like, yeah, you don't want you don't want your taco to be messy or something like that. I feel like they said something to that effect, and I'm like incredibly wrong. You should be able to make a second taco out of what falls out of the first taco.
Yeah. That's how it is. That's how it goes.
Anyways. But yes, watch Very Important People. I plan to. They just started a second season, and they got Anna. They covered her in rocks, and the character she created was Zeke, a 4th grade boy who got turned into rocks by a genie, and it's phenomenal.
Sounds really good.
About the mask that the figure was wearing, and the blood that spattered over you, and he was shot.
Now's when we're gonna get to bring up the camera. Because I was gonna say we didn't have something to link to. Whoa, we didn't have something to link to like be like, oh, but here's your camera that you used, and boom, blood. We didn't have an inroad, but now we totally do.
Oh yeah, let's get his ass.
Let's get his ass.
Drag him.
Enough. Shut up, woman. You're making all this up.
Whoa.
Me when girls talk. That will do. Marge twist his balls. Mr. Drebber. Yes. You refute the account was given by Madame Two-Smelt? I have no recollection of ever saying those things.
Come on, do you really expect us to believe you?
Control yourself, Counsel. I will not permit baseless accusations in my courtroom.
Right. I think he like shrinks back slightly.
yeah, he really unfucking. Under the circumstances, I think it's better you supplement your testimony with a statement. Clarify your position on this witness. Very well. There was no gunshot from behind me at all, nor any spattering blood. Should
what
we
a
press
fucking
on this before we Okay.
Sorry. I was really horny for that one. I'm sorry.
I just like I don't know why you're in a rush. You know?
I got his ass.
For
Mr. Drebber, do you remember this camera?
I even tried to give a bunch of lead up time that time. Because I was like, Steven's going to want to click it immediately, so I should start saying something now. And it wasn't enough. Next time I'll mail it in the post 2 days before the stream.
I open up my mail. It's just a note that says, calm down.
Well, because I was going to say, we might, like, I doubt it would be important, but you might have, like, he probably had, like, a line of dialogue or something if we pressed there. But it's fine. It's not like we needed it. It's just lost forever.
What if there was a Steam achievement in there?
What if there was a Steam? What if you had to see every line of dialogue? That would be crazy.
God, I hope not.
Probably.
I do want 100% this once we finish it, because I can just, go back and get all the shit we missed off stream, but...
Yeah. But that is the camera from that fateful night?
Yes, we
Yeah, I stole it from your museum. I yanked it from you.
Yes, we borrowed it from the House of Horrors. It's the camera you took with you to the cemetery that night, Mr. Drebber.
No, it isn't. And is that supposed to be significant?
This kind of camera is rarely seen in our homeland, so my colleague and I were keen to examine it closely. We noticed that the lens extends forward on the end of some bellows. Like this. Hold it! Whoa, hey.
He's gonna be, yeah.
Hold it!
I don't know that I've ever heard him say hold it.
Yeah, it's a rare one for him. Hold it. What's that? There, just on the bellows. It looks delicious. I mean, I'm not a fan. It looks like a dark red stain. And it's A positive. I mean, no, I'm not.
I could tell just by sniffing.
I get it's a good bouquet.
That's right. It's a rather conspicuous mark here on the bellows, in fact.
Good lord! Are you suggesting?
Yes, my lord. It would appear to be a spatter of blood.
Something that could be confirmed with a simple chemical test. Isn't that right, Dr. Sive? What?
I forgot I was here. It would be difficult to determine if it was human blood and not the blood of some animal. But yes, to test whether or not it's blood at all is simple enough. I propose that Madame Two-Spells' testimony was correct, and that on the night in question 10 years ago, you were splattered with blood from the gunshot wound.
Well, Nope.
And that furthermore, you really did witness the condemned
You could just
professor
say-
emerging from his tomb.
You could just say furthermore, Ryunosuke. Furthermore already means and that. What are you doing?
Whoa.
Yeah. I just make a fax machine noise.
Just dial up sound effects.
Remember those? They were grating.
There's simply no way you could have forgotten such a traumatic experience. In other words, the only explanation is that you're trying to hide the fact that you saw the professor that night.
Objection!
But why? Why would he want to do that?
Well, not for his own gain, it would seem.
For whose then? Who could benefit?
Mr. Dripper is obviously lying in order to protect somebody.
My goodness! He's shielding someone?
Yes, my lord. And clearly, it's someone who doesn't want the truth about the professor's coming back to life to be exposed.
Well, Counsel.
They're really gonna make us. Okay.
Well, Counsel, who is it then?
Who indeed?
You ever get the and hold on, let me read this line before you click it. But do you ever get the sense that that once in a while this game goes full Dora the Explorer on you, and it's just like, where's the backpack? And it's like 5 inches to the left, you know?
Yeah, just once in a while they really need to walk you through it, just in case you didn't
Yeah.
figure it out.
And I get that it's listen, as a person who's done puzzles in D&D once in a while, it's tough, right? Because like people, it's hard to design. Puzzles are hard, right? It's hard to
Yeah.
design a puzzle. So I get it, but it does get me sometimes when the game's like, hey, where does this go in the square hole?
That always goes in the squirrel hole. So it's obviously the doctor's
Yes,
side,
but
right?
I'm gonna.
Okay.
Who is this witness trying to protect by lying about what he saw that night?
Take that!
So I don't know if protect is the right word.
The obvious
But, like,
answer
yeah,
is Dr.
technically.
Scythe.
Scythe.
Whatever do you mean?
Imagine if the convict who'd been sentenced to death was not, in fact, killed. Imagine if that was to come to light. What are you insinuating?
I think
And
we,
imagine if
the
the
thing we
con-
gotta.
Oh.
I was gonna say, I think the thing we gotta figure out is if she did it on purpose,
Or if she just
like flubbed the,
fucking
or if
fumbled
she
the
just
bag.
fucked up. I kind of hope she just fucked up because, I think it's just because she's hot. If I'm being honest,
Could be.
It's-
You know, that's what happens.
it might be. It happens.
And imagine if the
Why are
convict in
why are the
question
hot
was the
ladies
country's
evil?
most hated mass murderer.
Why do they keep doing that?
If it was the
What does it
professor,
mean?
That would be an unprecedented scandal.
Objection!
Because I think it would make more sense if it was like she fucked up, but then people are like covering it up. 'Cause that would fit with the whole like, fucking
yeah, it would fit
Scottish
with the black...
guy being like,
Oops.
"Oh no, you can't do the thing. You can't. What are you doing? You can't. Because he tried to stop Scythe from testifying.
Yes.
You can't do that." So, but who knows? Because they
I mean,
also
what it
could be
seems like to
covering
me
up
is-
if she did it on purpose.
Right, like, it seems like she fucked up the execution in some way, and then...
I think it got fucked up, if I had to guess that. Yeah.
Then he started to climb out of the grave, somebody blasted him, and Drebber was like, aha, I can use this.
Yeah, but we'll find out. This is beyond the joke. Need I point out that the dead cannot come back to life? What you're suggesting would mean that the execution never actually happened. Yeah, or they just fucked up.
Yes, that's exactly what it would mean.
Objection!
Once a man is sent to the gallows, he hangs. No one could escape. Not in Great Britain. Maybe in a shitty country like, I don't know, Japan.
But the fact is, there was a witness to the fact that the man did escape his hanging.
That was really true, Counsel. The implication of misconduct would not stop at the supervising coroner. It would take the honor of the entire judiciary from the ground up.
Perhaps.
No.
And it's exactly because of those monumental repercussions that Dr. Scythe would consent to any demand made of her by someone who threatened to expose the secret, even if that meant being complicit in a crime.
I'm trying to figure out if they're going to give us a reason why he stole the waxwork of the serial killer. Because if they don't tie that off, it's really dumb that he did that. But there must be a reason, right?
I think it was that one in particular, because they said it was to send a message to Dr. Scythe about it being like, hey, I know about your shit. But I wonder if he personally just wanted to know what was behind the mask.
Maybe. Yeah, it could have been just to get Scythe on board, because he did need Scythe to lie about the not
time of
Odie
death,
ass
or
man.
cause of death, or the fact that it wasn't a man, but most of a mannequin.
Yeah. Well, we're pretty close.
You mean?
I mean that Dr. Scythe wasn't collaborating in Mr. Drebber's wicked scheme. She was coerced into collaborating in order to protect her decade-old secret. She switched the dead body of Mr. Assman with the waxwork model and fabricated the autopsy report. Yeah! We haven't seen the boot all game. Lord Van Zeeks.
I like how they, insist he has the full goblet as well.
Right.
Every time he does the boot. Like, it's
part of it.
It's part of it.
I would love to see a wide shot of this pose. It must look incredible.
You know what that it's part of it reminds me of? Do you remember from a few years ago the Tom Hanks SNL skit of David Pumpkins? Are you a David Pumpkins guy?
I've heard of
really
David
good.
Pumpkins at least. I don't know if I've seen the bit, but
damn, you don't fucking know it.
Yeah, I know. I'm dumb as hell. Dumb as bricks.
Well, stop rewatching Yu Hakusho. Go get cultured.
Dumb as a box of rocks.
Pray forgive my freshly filled hallowed chalice, and a whole raft of other discourtesies now.
Goodness me! Does that ever strain you, Johnson?
What?
What?
It's just the sort of tall tale Londoners would enjoy, I grant you. An executed killer rising from the dead, a Scotland Yard cover-up, a conspiracy at the highest levels. So, let me ask you one thing.
I hope he doesn't ask me for proof, because I don't think I have that. What's that?
If the condemned man really did emerge from his tomb that night only to be shot in the chest, who pulled the trigger and disposed of him forever?
Well, I have no idea at the moment.
We have too little information to work that out at present, I think.
I couldn't agree more. Let me fill up another one.
The Old Bailey is I never drink this, if you haven't noticed. The Old Bailey is no place for wild fantasies. And have you considered this, my learned Nipponese friend? He just hits like a
Considered
cool
what?
dance move. Let me break it down for you, Ryunosuke.
Just does a Fortnite default dance at it.
I've said this before and I'll say it again, real mad. I guess I'm glad that people know the dance, but I'm real mad that that is
That's
the
the one
the
from-
Fortnite dance.
That's the
They
one
stole
from
from Scrubs.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. Turk's actor. Oh god, I'm blanking on his name. Zach Braff and
The other one.
the other guy. Donald Faison. If you type Zach Braff into Google, it autofills suggests Donald Faison. I said Daniel. It's Donald. But Donald Faison invented that did it in an episode of Scrubs, and they took it. Like they took the Carlton. It's a shame. He does it to the song Poison by Belle Biv DeVoe, if I remember right. And it fucking slaps. He's so good. He's so good at dancing, or was 20 years ago when Scrub was filmed. I assume he hasn't forgotten, but I don't know. Do you realize what a dangerous endeavor it would be to coerce this woman into such criminal activity? It's tantamount to declaring war on the entire British police force and judiciary.
What? It's hard to imagine any sum of money being offered for research could warrant it.
To rely on some stage deception when so much is at stake would be madness. Well, I
You
suppose.
ever realize that we're just the two wackest guys? You never think we're cartoon characters?
And this was no petty crime either. The victim was murdered. A man who'd already invested money in the venture and would be instrumental in future profits too. Yes, I had no reason to kill Mr. Assman at all.
Wanna bet?
It was revenge. Or are you forgetting that his death results in me not receiving not a single penny? The court is already aware of the contract between myself and the victim. No.
There's a contract. That's very true.
I lost
Motive
his
for this
being
case
British
runs
at some
deep,
point.
though. I can feel it.
Using threats to force the head of the forensics investigation team to cooperate is extreme. Especially for a government grant that he had no guarantee of receiving in the first place.
If the research grant was the aim, taking Mr. Aspen's life would have made no sense anyway. Which means Mr. Drebber's motive wasn't money at all. He was just trying to kill Mr. Assman. But why? What was his motive then?
It's simple. He was a boob man. The war rages on.
He couldn't stand it.
Oh, I know what phrase you're trying to go for.
Couldn't something.
He couldn't.
Couldn't.
The croc. I couldn't. Yeah, I also don't remember.
That's I don't.
I know what you were going
there's a
for.
word, there's a word in there that I couldn't remember, but I started to say it anyway.
Rocket? No.
Because grok is like understanding something or seeing something.
couldn't-
That's not it.
Yeah. What the fuck?
It's gone. It's not in there.
Huh. Your time is up, my learned friend. I'd say you have one last chance before the jury lose their patience with this charade.
All right. Well, obviously we have to compare the thing on the contract to the thing on the
The signatures,
newspaper.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see if you can back up your heady proposal, shall we? Fucking the
Dustman
dodge.
ducks out of the way.
I'm fast as like, imagine if he just he did that and then he was like, "Did you guys see how cool that was? It was fucking sick. Hi, I'm Kazuma. It's me, Kazuma. How do you explain why this engineer would throw all caution to the wind and threaten his own country?" Well, maybe he's not a nationalist.
At this point, I'm not prepared to listen to more of this outlandish conjecture without proof.
Okay.
I used to make this guy British.
Yeah. Listen.
No counsel, present your evidence.
Gonna try to
All
bring
right.
that back.
Who exactly was Mr. Aspen to Drebber? There's a connection there that no one's seen yet. And I'm going to have to present 2 pieces of evidence to show what it is. Oh, that's easy then. I know exactly which 2
Yeah, we
pieces
know
of
exactly
evidence.
which 2. Yeah.
Yes, my lord.
I like how we clocked this like fucking 2 days ago.
I know.
It's
The
crazy.
evidence that establishes a motive and explains why the witness wanted
Just
the
make sure we
victim
get
dead
the
is
right
here.
newspaper.
Yeah, it's the second newspaper, because that's the one
It's
that's
the
got the
10-year-old
OAS
article.
man.
Yes.
And
OAS.
also, I believe exactly
the
the
contract.
contract also. Yeah, these are the
Yep.
same signature. Yep.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Drebber, I have here the contract that you signed with Mr. Assman.
Yes, that's right. The very document, in fact. That proves I have no reason to kill the man.
No, I'm afraid not. As it turns out, this contract actually helps to establish the real motive for the murder you committed.
It does? Well, I never.
I'm expecting him to say egads at some point.
Egads!
What are you talking about? Read it again, you idiot.
I'm not finished. In order to demonstrate what your motive really was, I need this contract and one other piece of evidence.
Read it again, you idiot, is what I say to myself when I see that you can buy all the Redwall books for like $6 a book on Amazon or some shit.
That's pretty good. I mean, there's a lot of those
It's
fucking
not-
things, but it's pretty good.
There's 22 of them. It's like $7 a book, but there's 22 of them. It's like you could get all 22. The Amazon will just sell them to you. Isn't that crazy? The
I
only
could
problem
take
is I've been debating this literally since high school, because high school is about when I stopped reading them. I think I finished basic. I think I just like ended. I think I was done. Like I did it. You know.
read all the books that
But
there
I-
were.
I was thinking about, because I just read them as the library had them, basically. Sometimes I'd be like, oh, this one's like the next one that was published. But most of the time, I just picked them at random. And you can just do that with the Redwall books. Like, they're all set in a timeline, but like you don't need to read it in a specific order. But I'd been debating about whether I should. Like, if I sit down to reread them, should I read them on chronological, like within the universe order? Or should I read them published order? That's the thing, right? That's the sticky wicket. I don't know. I've been debating it for years mentally. I'll just have to read them twice.
You just do it both ways. Simultaneously.
What?
One eye on
At
each
the
book.
same time. Yeah! I fucking like that image of fucking SpongeBob. You know, the
Yeah, exactly.
what other evidence? This newspaper.
Scoundrel, we will present your supplementary evidence without delay. The evidence which, when cross-referenced with the contract, establishes the motive for the deed.
Again, just making sure I've got the right newspaper.
Yeah.
It would be embarrassing if I didn't.
How
It's
embarrassing.
this newspaper article, my lord.
That was written 10 years ago, and every detail has been examined already. What can it possibly tell us? That riddle should never have been written. It's typical gutter press nonsense that means nothing.
Objection! But there's something significant that this newspaper article and the contract have in common.
Really?
And it's that common link that shows very clearly why you were determined to kill Mr. Odie Assman.
They're really edging us with this one, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, like, how many? It seems the defense has uncovered. Like, is this necessary? It seems the defense has uncovered something the rest of us have missed. Let's talk about it for 4 more years.
Huh?
So, my learned friend, point out what these 2 pieces of evidence have in common. Oh my god. Where exactly is the link between
It's in such
this
a.
newspaper
It's not like it's
article?
hidden on this picture either.
Yeah,
it's
I
very
know.
obvious.
Why are they making us do this?
Take that. What these 2 pieces of evidence have in common is a signature.
A signature?
The signature on the illustration that accompanies the 10-year-old article and the signature on the contract belong to the same person.
What?
As the court has heard, this illustration was drawn 10 years ago, by the newspaper reporter who found Mr. Drebber and interviewed him about his ordeal. If you look closely, the reporter's signature can be seen in the bottom right corner of the drawing, or if you glance at it casually.
You closed your eyes and fucking, but if you closed your eyes, Beto. Beep.
And if you look at the contract here, which was signed between the witness and the victim last year, you can clearly see Mr. Assman's signature at the bottom.
Oh, they got it notarized.
Nice.
That makes me think of the one Peanuts skit where Lucy does the football thing, and at one point she's like, "Look, I've got a contract that I'll sign that says I won't pull it out," and then she obviously pulls the football away, and Charlie Brown lands on his ass like an idiot, and she goes, "Funny thing about this contract, it was never notarized." And I remember being 6 years old and hearing that and just not getting it stuck in my brain for a decade, because I was like, what the fuck did that mean?
Let me see now. Good Lord, yes, they are identical.
In short, the journalist who drew the illustration and wrote the article published about Mr. Drebber 10 years ago was the victim of this case, Mr. Odie Assman. Just does a little wiggle down to the ground.
He did it really, he fucking really wiggled his ass down. But explain to the court why. Why do birds suddenly appear? Why would that constitute a motive for the witness to murder Assman?
Well, if you think back, you'll remember that Mr. Drebber talked about that article in his testimony.
Well, grave robbing, you say?
Yes, exhuming fresh corpses to sell is reasonably lucrative.
That is quite beyond the pale. That would invite divine retribution, sir.
Yes, well, I think I suffered retribution enough. The Daily Circus eventually unearthed my name and put it in print. It caused me a great many headaches. In the end, I had to leave the university. That was the only paper with the bad grace to identify me unambiguously, I might add. Then I gave up on my dream of becoming a scientist, and it was all because of that newspaper article. Made me want to kill the guy that did the article. Really hated him.
That bitch ruined my life. I would murder him if such a thing were possible.
I would trick him with a big kinesis machine.
At the time, you were a student at the University of London who dreamt of becoming a scientist. However, this single newspaper article changed your entire life.
Well, Mr. Asplund used to be a newspaper journalist, did he?
He did, my lord. I already knew this. In fact, it's a widely held belief that Assman managed to position himself at the heart of his criminal network. Thanks to... Wait, didn't he get off? Alleged criminal network, thanks to the many dubious connections he made during his time as a reporter.
So you had to give up on your dream and leave university. You lost everything. Eventually
you lose.
Eventually you found yourself working in the field of science, but only in the shadows. And all because of that article, written by Mr. Assman.
Enough. Stop this endless drivel about my life.
What?
Explain yourself, Mr. Drebber.
Yes, it's true. I had to leave the university as a result of that article. But it was just the straw that broke the camel's back.
What do you mean?
Almost every student of science in the faculty was too poor to actually conduct any research. But they struggled on with their hypotheses anyway. We all did, only to have them taken by vultures. Sooner or later, you knew your ideas would be stolen and patented by some wretch or other after all.
Good gracious.
Making a name for yourself as a scientist in a climate like that. was a miracle only a select few geniuses could ever hope to achieve. Personally, I wasn't one of those geniuses, so it was hardly a wrench. Now's when we bring up the trophy. Like, no, being
Yeah, oh
forced out
yeah.
of university.
That's the only
because
possible reason we have that fucking thing.
Yeah, it's to be like, no, you actually were pretty smart. Look at this trophy. Look, it says smart boy on it. It says certified smart boy.
I had one of those.
Being forced out of the university because of Lowgate was the best thing that could have happened to me.
Actually,
It's a weird lie.
If you think about it, I have exactly the opposite thing, actually.
Don't you have a dumbass award?
Yeah, I've got a dumbass award from Science Club.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, memories.
Objection.
I got a golden pocket protector from Mr. K back in middle school science club.
Ooh, I didn't. The only thing I ever got from Science Club was a shirt and a dumbass trophy.
I do have that shirt too. It's with the brain shirt.
I don't think I threw it out. I think I've still got it somewhere.
I've got mine because it's, I don't know. I mean, like, it's a one-of-a-kind item.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mr.
The
Drebber.
Mountain Dew has a lot of real estate on that shirt.
Do you genuinely believe that?
Of course I do. Who's better placed to know whether or not I possess a talent for science than me?
I'm sorry to say that your words don't ring true at all.
How dare you?
And I have evidence to prove it. I know how dare you is technically a question, but every time I see it with a question mark, it's something about that just is really funny to me.
How dare you?
How dare you? I have the evidence to prove it.
How dare I? How are you in a position to say anything about me? I don't know you from Adam. Fine, if you think you have evidence, go ahead, show it. What could you possibly have to disprove the idea that I was happy to leave university because I lacked talent?
Science trophy.
It's a very
prestigious award.
Prestigious award.
Do you remember this, Mr. Drebber? We found it at your workshop.
I stole it.
Again, I just kind of loosey-goosey with evidence. It just goes into my
I just
pocket
kind of
sometimes.
took it. Yeah, my pockets are real big. Is that a Royal Society trophy for excellence in science?
What exactly is this trophy, Council?
It's the greatest honor that can be bestowed on a young scientist, my lord.
There is no higher accolade. It recognizes emerging talent and promises a bright future.
Good gracious.
Your prospects for the future were excellent, weren't they, Mr. Drebber? Because even then, you were a genius in your field.
Meh.
But you lost everything. You had no more future. Your talents would go to waste. All as a result of this one newspaper article. I don't know when you realized who Mr. Assman was, but when it dawned on you that he was the same journalist who 10 years ago ruined your life, it's abundantly clear that you had no intention of forgiving the man. Oh, this breakdown's gonna be really good. Oh no, he's just kind of sad.
Oh, is that it?
No.
The truth is...
Finally, he's going to fold. No, he's not.
He's either going to not, or he's gonna, like, explode or something. Nope, there it is.
Hold it, says someone. It didn't have a voice line, so it's someone that usually doesn't talk. Oh.
Oh, it's Scythe. That makes sense.
Fine. Clearly this has run its course now.
What?
I admit it. All of it. What?
What are you doing?
It's exactly as the Japanese men said. I was coerced into going along with this man's plot to murder the victim, on the condition that he kept my dirty secret from 10 years ago.
Oh.
Okay, that makes me think that she's lying now.
no, she's definitely falling on her sword in some capacity. But we don't know why yet. Dr. Side, do you realize what you're saying, woman?
It's all true. That day. Oh,
And
we're getting a
meanwhile,
flashback.
Madame Two Spells is just like, can
Why-
I go?
why am I still
Why
here?
am I here? I am just a waxwork person. I don't feel like this is a thing that involves me.
Not anymore.
Ooh la la.
I would like to go home.
I would like to go. I have to abuse a man I hired to be a statue.
When I arrived at the Crystal Tower and saw the birdcage, my heart nearly stopped beating. That memory from a decade
in his
ago that
pocket?
I'd done my best to bury deep inside myself. I think that was
Did
that
we hit
shard.
that? Ah, it was the shard. Okay.
I think. It was the professor again, staring me in the face. And then, before I had a chance to react, I noticed something else. Oh, there
Nope,
was
it
a
is a
note in
note.
there. There was a
Yeah.
note tucked inside the model's jacket. Dr. Scythe,
Dr.
you will
Side,
go...
you will go along with my plan. No, hey, we're doing that. We're doing that. From someone who knows the truth about what really happened that night 10 years ago.
All the instructions were there in the note. Every detail was meticulously written out. I had no choice but to do what it said. I made the necessary alterations to the scene and fabricated the autopsy report as instructed. There was really no other choice. It had to be done to protect the judiciary. I can only apologize now.
Death.
Your Honor, League of Legends. Why on earth would you buckle now?
I don't like
Fuck
you.
you. you weirded me out, you strange clockwork man.
There's no point trying to hide it anymore, is there? I would have done anything to stop it coming out, even collaborate in a murder. But the great lie about that execution 10 years ago has been exposed. Whatever happens, I'm finished. So then, Mr. Drebber, what do you say to that? Your accomplice has admitted everything.
Never seen this bitch before in my life. Surely it goes without saying.
You admit your part in it too, then? No.
Fuck you. No. I admit nothing. At all.
What?
This guy's crazy. Have you forgotten that the Canisius machine was ripped to shreds by an explosion?
With a bomb you put there.
Short of me admitting to a crime, there's really no possible way for you to prove I did anything wrong.
No! Ah.
I want this guy to, like, actually get away with it. Right?
And then he
Hairbrain gets
fucking
executed.
dies.
And then he dies, right? The Reaper curse sets in. He just ends up fucking
Just an
mauled
anvil
by...
flies on him or something. A piano
he
from
steps
a
into an
third-story
open
building.
manhole. Yeah.
Order.
Whatever this man says, I admit everything. He threatened to expose my secrets, so I went along with his plan. And Lord Van Zeeks,
Yes.
I hope you'll accept my apologies. What happens next is in your hands, of course.
Goes ominous.
I've heard more than enough now. I hereby present the final findings of this court.
Huh?
This trial was not the proper forum in which to pursue the alleged wrongdoings of Mr. Drebber. This was about a different man, remember? Do you all remember this? Remember
Yeah.
5 years ago when it was about a weird little German boy? I feel like I get a lot of those lately. The defendant is Professor Albert Hairbrain.
Very true. It had slipped my mind.
Isn't he one of your closest friends?
Oh.
As the court has heard, Dr. Side has admitted to the allegations brought by the defense, thereby absolving the defendant of any possible guilt.
Oh, hey. You mean...
We did it!
Woo!
At the present time, is the conclusion of this court that the defendant was not involved in any wrongdoing. Does the prosecution have any objection?
No.
Yes! Could you... On, my lord. Oh, congratulations, Mr. Narhado. Fighting. You've proven Professor Hairbrain's innocence.
Yeah, but I don't feel... This is a real...
Yeah, yeah, and I'm like, huh. But the mysteries. The ball of yarn, I haven't unknotted it. But wait, no, we get dragged out of court. No!
But who's behind? Who's in the mask? Who's in the mask?
Who's in the mask? What?
Without further ado, we adjudication. Unless the prosecution events of any other matters to discuss.
I guess not.
I'm good.
I don't know. This doesn't feel quite right. Why did Dr. Scythe suddenly admit to it like that?
Lesser of evils, sword falling. Is everything alright, Mr. Narhado?
Like you said before, the way the trial is set to end now, the judge will certainly deliver a verdict of not guilty. But is that really what we want?
No,
The
we want
defense
the
should be
truth.
pushing for now is...
Further testimony,
testimony.
baby.
From who about
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, I don't
But
care,
yes.
but that, click it. Yeah, Mr. V, Mr. V.
Objection. The defense objects to the trial ending at this time, my lord.
I beg your pardon.
We demand one final testimony.
I want us to, like, call...
What?
Why?
Who do you think we call in? I want to call in the Scottish guy. Fucking Clock Man.
You don't realize I'm about to adjudicate in favor of your client, I presume.
What are you playing at now, my Nepalese friend? Why would you want to obstruct the conclusion of the trial at this point? No defense lawyer in his right mind would do that. I'm calling you crazy! Mr. Narhado, what the fuck? What the fuck?
I love everybody
What
in the court is like, what the fuck is your problem?
What are you doing? What exactly are you thinking?
The truth. The whole truth. And a way to bring it
And
all out
nothing
into the
but it.
open.
Oh, right. Right. Yeah.
Yes, in hindsight... Ah yes, one word of warning before I go. If in the course of the trial this afternoon you perceive even a shadow of doubt about the truth, don't let it out of your sight. Pursue it like a dog with a bone, chasing a car.
I forgot he told us that. I wouldn't know what to do with it.
I think I even made that joke last time.
You
to the
did.
bitter end, you understand. Do not falter, whatever may come to pass. I'm sure Mr. Sholmes knew. He must have deduced that this would happen. Yes, I'm here in court to advocate for my client and to secure an acquittal.
Obviously. Oh, you catty bitch. Wow.
But that's not all. I believe that I have a duty to the court to pursue the whole truth of the case until every last detail is laid bare.
Damn, I actually like that.
And
he
that
said
is why the defense
Fuck.
calls for the further testimony from Dr. Scythe. Testimony from me? About what? About the nature of your collaboration with Mr. Enoch Drebber. Ha! In case it's escaped your attention, I've already admitted to everything I did. The whole truth has already been revealed. So
Nuh-uh.
stop wasting everyone's time. Ah! As his lordship made very plain, your client will get the acquittal you wanted from him. There's simply no point protracting this business further with another tedious cross-examination.
Objection!
No, I'm here for it now.
I kind of want to see where this goes.
You know that guy killed my brother. It made me very sad. Pray forgive my careless handling of that hallowed bottle. I slipped.
That's
Dude,
what you
he's
call
getting
it?
crazy. He fucking the little cutaway to his going, obviously. And then now this. He's becoming a catty wampus, isn't he?
It's really good.
What is your objection, Lord Vanzix?
The prosecution also calls for supplementary testimony from
Hell
the
yeah.
witness.
Don't be stupid.
I'm the dumbest man alive. If there is more to this case that has yet to come to light, then I will join my learned friend in pursuing the facts until the bitter end.
You'll what? Lord Van Zeeks.
You know what I love about cans of worms? Opening them.
Opening them, just dumping them everywhere.
Oh, worms for you.
Very most irregular, to say the least.
I mean, we knew even in the first thing that he's essentially got the Edgeworth thing of like, nah, I'll flip sides as soon as I know.
If I know
That, like,
if I
there's-
know that shit's wrong, I'll fucking fix it.
Especially because he was the only reason we even get to talk to Dr. Scythe today, because otherwise it was gonna get fucking stonewalled.
Yeah, exactly. He was like, you know what? Let's go for it, buddy. I'm gonna fight the fucking Strongheart. I'm gonna kick his ass.
I'm going to kick him square in the dick.
However, as the prosecution also calls for, I will uphold the request. Dr. Scythe, you will testify for the court. Explain the full extent of your involvement in the murder apparently committed by Mr. Trevor.
Very well. Witness testimony.
So, do I get to leave?
The
or-
waxwork plot. It all began at the scene when I saw the waxwork and the note tucked inside its jacket. The actual body of the victim, as indicated in the note's instructions, was beneath the experimentation stage. The body had to be arranged in certain ways to implicate the defendant, which was my job. I enlisted the help of the entire forensic investigation team to dress the strict. Oh, excuse me? And
Yeah,
they were all
she
just like,
folded
yeah, that's
everybody.
fine.
It cuts to the Scottish guy, and he's just like, I did a very good job of getting this team to work together. Perhaps too good.
The truth about the execution 10 years ago is a state secret of the highest level. I had to protect it.
I really hope they have a good reason for why it was a state secret, and not just that they didn't want to look like idiots.
I mean, it probably is some combination of that. I wonder, maybe the professor was a foreigner or someone important?
It had to be something. Like, his identity has to matter. It's Chekhov's iron mask locked onto a mannequin, right?
Yeah.
Like, if his identity is not important, then I'm going to be pissed. So, it must be.
So I was right.
But I don't know what.
The stage and the machine were all specifically designed for the deception.
It's something with Mikatoba, you know?
We never
with
figured out what the
Suzatta's
deal with
dad.
Giselle Brett was either, and why she was fucking poisoned
Yeah.
to death.
It's some sort of, like,
Or why she got off.
Inter-country-
Yeah. We do know why she was poisoned to death. That reporter poisoned her. I forgot
Yeah.
that part.
It's some sort of, like, fucking
It would cause an international
inter-country
incident or something,
incident,
right?
yeah. But we don't know what it is, and I don't remember enough about what Mikatoba said about 10 years ago. But it's connected to that because he was here 10
It's
years
gotta
ago,
be.
and it's Chekhov's 10-year time gap, you know.
Yeah. So it seems, all meticulously prepared, you did well to see through it. You're a very shrewd boy. So kind of you to say.
What about this autopsy report then? Hi, I'm
All
here.
I did was record the location of the body as being in the crystal tower instead of under the stage.
That's all? That's a terrible corruption.
Only my team were aware of the deceit, and then only under my explicit instructions. Nobody else at Scotland Yard knew anything about it, I assure you.
What be thankful for small mercies, I suppose. Well, I believe that testimony has clarified everything. There's no particular need for a cross-examination, I would say.
No, I disagree. I can't shake the feeling that something's wrong. Just look at that expression on Dr. Scythe's face.
Oh yeah, weird smug smile.
It's the defense's right to cross-examine any witness following testimony. What is it about you Japanese that makes you all so doggedly persistent?
I know, right? It's I'm making him worse. In my mind, Zeke's is just like is just there to dogpile anytime.
Very well. If you so desire, Council, proceed with the cross-examination.
Yes, my lord. Time to press some stuff. I didn't see any obvious lies in there.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out something through pressing, probably.
In the scene, we saw the waxwork and the note tucked inside its jacket. Hold it! From what you described before, it sounds like the note was anonymous. Did you have any idea of who was behind it? There are very few people in the know about what really happened 10 years ago to start with. But anyway, I'd never heard of this engineer. So no, I had no idea. Yet despite not knowing who was behind the plan, you went along with it. I had no choice. Protecting the professor's secret was my only concern.
But the horse has bolted now, and the stable door will never be shut again. Scotland Yard's reputation will be immeasurably damaged as a result of all this.
Yes, thank you, Lord Van Zeeks.
Oh,
I'm
they
well
let
aware of
the
that.
French lady go. She's
Oh,
gone.
yeah. Goodbye, Two Spells.
Totally.
So as I understand it, what you found in the birdcage was a waxwork model. Where then was the victim's body?
Actual body of the victim as indicated in the notes and instructions beneath it. So, yeah. Hold it! Yeah, we knew that, but... So you knew about the special construction of the stage used to carry out the trick, then? It was quite obvious what had happened with the victim and the waxwork. And you switched the two over, didn't you? In other words, you recorded the victim's body as having been discovered in the Crystal Tower, and the waxwork? I wrapped it and sent it by carriage to the specified address at the specified time. And why were you given such directions?
Presumably, so it could be recovered by Trevor and returned to Madame Two Spells.
I see. And then you put the birdcage back on the experimentation stage. Yes, although someone obviously made the mistake about which cage should go where. I thought I'd made it perfectly clear to the team, but still. I suppose you were focused on the victim's body, that being a more important detail. Body had to be arranged in certain ways to implicate the defendant, which is my job. Hold it! When you say arranged, I presume you mean with this. Yes, the instructions in the engineer's note said something along the lines of fabricate some evidence to make it clear that Hairbrain alone could have killed Assman. So, you mean that was your doing? I fetched Hairbrain's ridiculous screwdriver from the stage. And took it. It doesn't look comfortable to use.
It
Took
is,
it
yeah,
with
it's
me,
bad.
alone, to the abyss under the stage where the birdcage had fallen.
I stabbed at the corpse.
Alone, Doctor.
I didn't feel it would be appropriate to involve anybody else in that particular part of the deception. There was a void underneath the stage where I found the birdcage lying in the dirt. I approached it, leaned down, and slowly opened it up. Then I took the screwdriver in both hands and plunged it into the man's chest. And then you noted that in your fake autopsy report as a fictitious cause of death. Exactly.
So, the actual cause of death was fucking falling 30 feet.
The trauma
His
resulting
spine
from the
buckled.
30-foot drop.
My word.
I wonder if we can believe her about that, though.
Yeah, what is it, Mr. Sato?
What if he wasn't dead? Something about Dr. Sai's last statement is playing on my mind, that's all.
Was stabbed in the chest. But that's not it.
Do we have any way of knowing?
I mean, we know this is a lie, so this doesn't help, but... Vertebra, hemorrhage of the wound to the chest. I mean, yeah, obviously a lie. But... both hands. So it's not like there's fingerprints on this fucking thing. Where's the broken off part of this screwdriver? Or the...
I don't know. In the flashback, it didn't have one. So I'm starting to think it just looks like that, and it's insane.
Yes, mine too. Dr. Scythe. There's really no need to shout. I can hear you perfectly well. The defense calls for you to add what you just said to your formal testimony. Oh? Which part? What I want to hear her supplement her testimony with is... the real cause of death or what she did to the victim. It seemed like she was... I guess...
Because because what she did definitely happened. She stabbed him with it.
Yeah.
It's just whether or not he was alive or not. Right?
The real cause of death being the fall of 30 feet. That part. Fine, if that's what you want. Just stop yelling, please.
The prosecution concurs.
No! I'm very loud.
Very well, you will supplement your testimony now, witness.
Okay, we're gonna press this one because I still didn't. Yeah, I forgot it was me. The actual cause of death was neck trauma Aspen suffered from the 30-foot fall.
So we should press that because it's new, right?
Yeah, we'll press it just to see if there's anything in there. You're quite sure of that. It was as a result of a broken neck. Yes, as a professional, that was more than apparent.
You never know just by looking at the photograph of the victim, though, would you?
No, that's very true. Obviously not. Which is precisely why coroners are needed to determine the actual facts. Yes, assuming they can be trusted.
But there's no point in calling her assessment into question without evidence. Let's get back to the testimony.
Very well. Help with the entire... I do want to address that because it's fucking wild.
We gotta press that anyways. I don't think we have whatever we need to prove that she murdered Asman.
The broken part was at the bottom, and this was the real cage.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think just saying like, but he landed on the bottom, not on his head. Because, like, I don't think that's enough. I think we need more, is my suspicion.
Let's finish pressing all these and see what happens. The entire team in perverting the course of justice? My team consists of the very best investigators there are. I demand loyalty from all members. We operate on the code of chivalry of sorts. You aid and abet a murderer, commit perjury, and dare to talk of chivalry? Please stop yelling. It was a matter of priorities. What? Nothing was more important than protecting a secret of the professor. My team did what was necessary without losing sight of the primary goal. I consider their conduct exemplary.
Don't concede the point, Mr. Naruto. You mustn't let her win.
I need a lawyer. I'll take that silence as tacit acceptance. Now can we move on? Without the execution of the states that uses the highest level, I have to protect. Hold it! Hold it! But at what cost? Faith in Scotland Yard is going to suffer a terrible blow as a result of this.
And your precious secret is now anyway.
Yes, as you say. And I take full responsibility.
Blow me down, Dr. Scythe!
Surely there was some other way you could have protected the secret. No, there really wasn't. I've done my utmost, believe me. In many ways, I respect your determination. Ooh, I nearly froze under that cold stare as she said that.
I do believe she was being genuine, though, Mr. Naruto.
Alright. So that's her story.
She's admitted everything, revealed her full involvement in the crime. I do wonder if there could really be much more to it.
Well, Well, I don't know, but I just have a feeling.
It's a feeling that I get. Like something's about to happen. And if he is as bananas as you say, do you, Mr. Naruto? The truth is, I find it strange too. How those two are reacting to this is in completely opposite ways, I mean.
Yes, exactly. For some reason, I feel sure they're still trying to hide something. Body been ranged in certain ways. The actual cause of death is not neck trauma suffered from the fall. Handle. So it's got to be something about that. Either the stabbing or the falling is... No, that's not helpful. Birdcage was cracked on the bottom. That doesn't... If it landed on the bottom, that doesn't necessarily mean he didn't break his neck, but...
Yeah. It's a big tube. It could break, and it could break anywhere.
I don't think we have anything else.
Then we can just try it. I mean...
Oh, I don't think we've used this. Well, I think we did use this to prove there's a big fucking hole under the thing. I mean, this is literally all that I have.
Objection!
Nah, that's not it. Should we try the other thing, though? Then? Try to have her switch statements? Because maybe it was something about the way she said it that was off.
Hold it!
Let's see exactly what this says. You mean what you did with this, correct? Merely carrying out the engineer's instructions. In his words, fabricate some evidence. Why isn't it letting me fast forward through this? And so you went, without any of your team, to where Asman had fallen.
This is slightly different.
That's right, yes. Is without any of your team important? Lean down over the birdcage and opened it up. Then I took the screwdriver in both hands and plunged it into the man's chest. After that, it was simply a matter of recording the stab wound as the cause of death on the autopsy report. Real cause of death being the fall, of course. I'm sure there's something here in this testimony.
You know, if you think it would be appropriate, I'm sure you could ask Dr. Side to change the supplementary testimony she gave before.
What should I ask her to do with the statement she added? Have her change it. I just want to see what it is. See if that contradicts anything more. Dr. Scythe, what you said before about what you did to the victim's body, I believe that may be significant, so could you change your supplementary testimony statement to explain that instead? Very well. Stood over the victim's corpse where it lay in the
I
top
guess
of
we
the
could
cage.
press this.
Hold it!
See if she has anything else to say about it. So it was you who stabbed Assman with this? Yes, far easier than dissection, I assure you. No precision required. What a welcome change. The victim died instantly from a snapped neck. All I did was carry out the instructions I'd been given.
As unflinchingly as ever, no doubt. I imagine I'm just on the real thing today. I imagine you didn't bat an eyelid when you drove the weapon into his body.
There was no need to bat my eyelids. And what else did you do to twist the facts? Remind the court, why don't you? If you wish. The victim's corpse lay in the toppled cage and plunged the screwdriver into the chest. Is there something about the way the cage is that would make that impossible?
I mean, it would be hard to do, but I don't know about impossible.
Yeah.
It's kind of weirdly tall.
She would have to really get down in there, I guess, but I don't know if that's what they're looking for. But again, I don't think we have anything else. It's not like the screwdriver couldn't be held with two hands. Like, that's the only other part of that I'm like, maybe? But there's nothing here.
Genuinely don't know. I guess we could try it. We got 3 lives left.
I'm gonna say we try this, and if that doesn't work, I might have to look it up. Because I got nothing. Nope.
Nope.
Let's go back through everything one more time. Everything, obviously not relevant. Obviously not relevant. Obviously not relevant. Obviously not relevant. Photograph of the victim. I don't see what this would prove, because this is after he'd already been moved. Hence the glass shards. Autopsy report we know is fake. So again, that doesn't matter, I don't think. Because we already know she lied about this, so presenting it and going, "You lied," wasn't do anything. Screwdriver's nothing. This is nothing. Just a random picture of Drebber. I don't think that's helpful at all. Camera, the broken glass was around the waxwork. That doesn't really help. There was autopsy report from 10 years ago. This doesn't help because this was way later. Yeah, I've genuinely got nothing, man.
I also have nothing. This is why it's hard to make a puzzle game.
Yeah.
That's annoying.
Ah. I spelled attorney wrong. That's why my autocorrect went away. Oh, this is the wiki. That's not actually what I'm looking for. I'm trying to get the answer without spoiling myself on anything else. Okay, so we're in, I assume, trial part 4. Yes. Choose what she did to the victim.
What is
Present
that?
photo of the victim.
So is the photo.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. Explaining that makes sense. If he was already dead, why would the blood be dripping? Is the thing.
Oh, so it's just the blood?
Yes.
I was wondering about that, actually. I thought that the game would tell us something about it, though.
Right.
I thought, like, I was, because I was gonna say when we looked at the photo, I was like, he did bleed, and I was like, I thought maybe it's something with like, oh, well, like the body wouldn't bleed if he was dead already, because his heart wouldn't be pumping blood. But I thought the game would like spell that out, have
Yeah.
Sasato be like, my dad's a doctor, and I know that.
I know that when you're dead, you don't bleed no more.
Objection!
Objection.
That makes sense, though.
Okay.
Maybe we almost presented that photograph. I'll give us half a point.
Yeah. I've got a nasty feeling that this inconsistency points to an extremely uncomfortable truth.
What is the matter, Counsel? Have you lost your tongue?
I apologize, my lord. Dr. Scythe, in that last statement of yours, there's just one point that seems to defy explanation.
Out with it, my learned friend.
There's an obvious inconsistency between your description and this photograph, which shows the victim in the birdcage following the events that led to his death.
Objection!
The court has already examined that photograph in depth. There's nothing new we can learn from it.
Objection! Nuh-uh. Yes, we have already
Objection,
considered
shut
it,
up.
that's true. But we now know the facts to be different.
What do you mean?
I believe we should let the defense explain.
Probably.
Where in this photograph do we see the alleged inconsistency with the witness's testimony?
Take that!
The blood.
Look closely at the bloodstain on the victim's chest. It clearly extends in a downwards direction towards the man's feet.
Why is that significant, Counsel?
Oh, because he couldn't have been lying down stabbed either?
If the victim was stabbed moments before the kinesis machine was set in motion, that's entirely expected.
Ah, of course. No, that's not what happened.
Exactly, my lord. Dr. Scythe made it very clear in her testimony just now that the point at which she stole Professor Hairbrain's screwdriver and stabbed the victim was after the grand deception was set in motion, when the birdcage had fallen below the stage out of sight. From the shape of it, it's clear that the birdcage would have fallen on its side after the 30-foot drop, because it's pointy on the bottom. And if the victim had really been stabbed whilst inside the birdcage in that position, the blood from the wound would have spread out equally in all directions.
That makes more sense. I see what
Yeah.
they're going for.
Yeah. For it to have formed the longitudinal appearance we see in this picture is inconceivable.
An amazing sentence.
Ah! Given that the victim's blood seeped vertically downward from the wound, longitudinally one might say for some reason, it must be the case that when you stabbed Mr. Assman, he was standing up. In short, Dr. Scythe, your latest testimony was a total fabrication. Yeah, Russianly. I knew it. I was right. Now I've identified the contradiction. There's only one way to explain the facts. We've all been under a great misapprehension here.
What? What sort of misapprehension?
A great one.
Wow.
Dr. Scythe.
You became a little vampire there.
You were coerced into helping Mr. Drebber as a result of the note he left in the waxwork. You claim that you made changes to the scene of the crime to implicate the defendant. And you claim that you authored a fake autopsy report to cover your tracks. But one of those claims is an out-and-out lie. Because the question of what the bloodstain really tells us has only one possible answer.
If that's the case, what is it, man?
I love talking in ways that only leave you with more questions.
Counsel, you clearly struck upon a revelation. Now tell the court what it is. Which part of Dr. Scythe's story is shown to be a lie by the contradiction of testimony?
The stabbing.
It had to have been stabbing, yeah. The answer is very simple if you consider the sequence of events. If, when the victim was stabbed, the blood from the wound seeped downwards as it did, we can be sure that the victim must have been either sitting or standing upright at the time. Maybe he didn't die from the drop.
Yeah, he might have been stabbed before the drop, yeah.
No, I mean, like,
I mean,
the
he
drop
must have
didn't
been,
kill him. Like, when she got there,
Yeah.
he wasn't dead yet.
Yeah, but then she would have, that would have only been... I don't know if that's what they're going for, though, because he did definitely break a vertebra, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So, he would have had to have climbed out of the bird cage, she stabbed him, and then put him back in the bird cage? Which is possible, but I don't know if that's what they're going for. Wouldn't it make more sense if someone had stabbed him before it fell?
Maybe. But then it would have had to have been
Maybe.
harebrained.
Yeah.
Because he was already under the stage for like half an hour or whatever when the fucking science team showed up.
Yeah. We'll have to see. It's one of those two. I'm not sure yet. But as you rightly pointed out, the birdcage would have fallen on its side when it fell beneath the stage.
Yes, it would. Which tells us that the victim must have been in that position of his own accord.
Objection!
That's impossible. The man was dead, remember?
No, that is the misapprehension. I guess she also would have been hurt by that article coming out if that dude was actually not dead.
Yeah.
But then somebody else must have killed him. When the birdcage fell from the stage into the void below, it must have hit the ground with considerable force. But Mr. Assman didn't die in the fall.
Yeah, she stabbed him and put him back in.
He probably lost consciousness for a while, but when he came round, he got to his feet to climb out of the cage. I mean, this part of it must have been part of the magic trick, right? My assumption is that the part of the magic trick was he was supposed to fall down here, maybe land on a cushion or something, and then run to the crystal tower and pretend that he had been teleported.
Yeah.
Like, otherwise the
It's a
magic
bad
trick
plan,
itself
that's
doesn't
true.
make sense. But when he came around to climb out of the cage, I said that, I think. Just as Dr. Scythe appeared. If the victim was in fact alive at that point in time, it changes everything. Mr. Odiasman's killer wasn't the defendant, Professor Albert Hairbrain. Nor was it the mastermind behind the stage trickery, Mr. Enoch Drebber. It was you, Dr. Courtney Scythe. Aharg.
Damn it.
Order, order, order! Can this possibly be true?
Have you been taking me for a fool? It was you, was it? You killed him.
No.
No.
You hoped that by admitting to being an accomplice in Mr. Drebber's scheme, the trial would end. Before, you were accused of a far worse crime. Cold-blooded murder. Oh, do shut up. You're so desperate now, you're making this all up. As if I would do something like that. Susato objection.
I assure you the defense is not desperate, Doctor. Mr. Naruto has established the facts using evidence and logic alone.
Ha! Logic, don't make me laugh. Sadly, your logic has a gaping hole in it. What? What do you mean? Shh. I'd have thought it was obvious. A motive, boy. You're lacking a motive. What possible reason would I have to kill Mr. Assman?
Assman was involved in any number of criminal activities, from coercion to theft to murder. But there is no known connection to Dr. Scythe here.
I'm rather worried today. It does seem somewhat far-fetched.
True, there's no obvious motive. But there's still something in the back of my mind. I feel sure I've seen something somewhere that hints at why the coroner might have done this. Yes, I might have tampered with the crime scene and concocted a fake report. But murdering someone for no reason is a very different story.
Objection!
Objection! No, when you question what possible reason you could have for wanting to kill Mr. Assman, something did come to mind. What?
What was it, counsel? Enlighten the court at once.
Yes, we saw it yesterday, didn't we? Something that seemed strange, but we had no reason to suspect it at the time. There's a particular object that explains why Dr. Scythe would have wanted to kill Mr. Assman. The mask?
The mask?
Scalp? There was something in her... Oh, it was something in her office. What was it? Would it have been the scalpels or the... Was there a I don't remember seeing the screwdriver in her office. Nor do I remember seeing the iron mask in her office. So the scalpels, maybe?
What was scalpels? I don't remember.
It's the only thing that we would have seen yesterday. The iron mask doesn't make any sense, I don't think. I mean, we don't have points in this one. Maybe we can just be wrong.
Yeah, scalpels.
Scalpels. It's a scalpel. Or rather, scalpels.
You say scalpels?
Ah, there we go.
We got
Would appear that word has struck a chord, Doctor. You, come on, out with it. It was yesterday when we visited your laboratory.
There's like an order for it. Oh, right!
yeah.
It was embezzling.
She's embezzling.
Remember? We talked about the embezzlement?
Yeah.
And it's like a shit ton. Was she paying hush money to Odie Assman? Because
Maybe.
he was like, oh, I'll run. Okay, so maybe Odie Assman was the one who took the print plate?
Yeah.
That proves that...
That
Because
proves...
we still didn't find that photographic plate, which must come up, right? It's Chekhov's photographic plate.
Yes,
So
obviously.
did he maybe take it, or somehow he got evidence, right? And was he maybe blackmailing Courtney Scythe?
Could be.
She was having to embezzle? Yeah, I forgot about the embezzlement thing. I remember being like, oh yeah, someone's definitely embezzling, right? Because that's so many scalpels.
It's a lot of scalpels. Look at this big, thick book here.
Ah, it appears to be an accounting ledger. It's a record of the forensic investigation team's spending, I think. Oh?
What is it?
It's clear that the team purchases various equipment and supplies on a monthly basis, but... Well, one entry seems rather strange.
Really? In what way?
They're buying 500 scalpels every month.
A lot of scalpels. An obscene amount of scalpels.
500 scalpels? A month?
At first I wondered what on earth you could be using that many scalpels for. But actually I realize now it's not the scalpels themselves that are significant. It's the money for them, disappearing every month from the department's accounts.
Asman's criminal organization relied heavily on extortion for its funding. Tracing the money from the forensic investigation team's account to find out where it was going would be extremely straightforward.
Ugh. 10 years ago, when Mr. Assman was still a journalist and wrote this article about Mr. Drebber, he may well have stumbled upon information as he was researching the story. Information relating to Dr. Scythe's darkest secret that he would use to rack money from her for the next decade.
A darkest secret? Good lord, you mean...
I don't know what happened on the night of that execution 10 years ago, but clearly the opportunity to rid yourself of that menace was too tempting to pass up. Drebber's not even in the shot anymore.
It's slid away.
So in the end, you weren't coerced at all, were you? You did it entirely of your own free will. You stabbed Mr. Assman in the heart with all your might. To silence the blackmailer who knew your dark secret forever. You'll never understand. None of you. What we've had to keep covered up all these long years. You could tell us. I know it's a state secret, but come on.
But come on.
What's a state secret between a couple of lawyers, a jury, and an audience of your peers?
And just people.
And just people
from
just
like
kind
the
of chilling.
street.
As very little of the machine remains after it was ripped apart by the bomb, the truth of this case can never be properly established unless you speak out.
And if you decide not to, it's very possible that Courtney Scythe will escape punishment for her crimes. Please, sir, own up to what you've done and tell the court the truth about what happened. 10 years ago, you told the truth, and you were robbed of a bright and successful future as a result. I can certainly understand your bitterness and your consternation now. However, this is surely the chance you've been waiting for, to sever the hold that fate's had over you all these years. Super high voltage instantaneous kinesis. I mean, really. It's the addled-brained mock scientists that are the worst, you know. They don't recognize the fact that they don't have talent. They can't even get that right. And so they end up chasing impossible dreams, having unbridled faith in their abilities. They go on and on about their wonderful hypotheses, their stupid eyes shining like a little child's. They make me sick. I can't abide their foolishness.
Careful, Mr. Drebber.
I was particularly pleased with the kinesis machine. It made for quite a show, didn't it?
So you admit it? You admit that it was nothing more than a sham made for the purpose of killing the victim.
Yes, I admit it. I did it all in the name of revenge.
Revenge for the future that Mr. Assman's article had deprived you of 10 years earlier. The revenge you sought didn't stop at Assman, did it?
Which is where that very particular waxwork comes in. Yes, I see. The condemned convict that you saw rising from the grave in Lowgate Cemetery 10 years ago. If your account of those events was true all along, then obviously Scotland Yard couldn't afford to acknowledge what had happened. Even if it meant discrediting a bright young man and crushing any future career he might have had.
So your plan required that you abduct that particular waxwork model in order to exact your revenge on Scotland Yard as well. Or on Dr. Scythe, to be precise.
It was a year ago. By some extraordinary twist of fate, Asman turned up at my workshop. He didn't remember who I was, of course. He just wanted to employ my services as an engineer. And he happened to have a paper with him. An article on the front page caught my eye. And about the coroner who handled the bogus autopsy being appointed head of a new forensics team. When I learned the news, my cognitive processes started to devise a plan. Okay.
Why did you say it like that? What do you mean?
What a horrid tale. He robbed me of my future, so I wanted to use the man's own wiles against him for revenge. And have that rotten Scotland Yard eating out of my hand at the same time. I wanted them all to suffer the same humiliation I'd had to suffer.
Your actions against those who've ruined your future were justified as revenge, at least to yourself. Certainly no one has the right to destroy another's prospects, especially for purely selfish gain. And yet, in carrying out your plan, you did exactly that to someone else, didn't you?
Did I? Did I?
Professor Hairbrain's only crime was passion for his hypothesis, but you had no compunction about sacrificing his future to effect your revenge. You knew that he would be forever branded a failure and a fraud. Perhaps life treated you unfairly 10 years ago, and others' misconduct left your life in tatters. But remember this. Your own actions resulted in exactly the same thing for another perfectly innocent young man.
I.
Damn, I hadn't thought of it that way.
My cognitive processes. I keep thinking they're gonna give us a to be continued or something.
No, I think this is the end of this. I think this is the end of the case now.
Yeah.
Old man Leaks, what of Dr. Scythe?
An immediate warrant for her arrest has been granted, and she's been remanded in custody, my lord. I presume she will face trial in the coming days, along with Mr. Drebin.
A most regrettable situation indeed. He's made great contributions to the profession over the years. Really is a hard truth to swallow. However, that is a topic for some future occasion. Now, Professor Hairbrain.
Och, I am still here, yes.
Seems there's a great deal more to your experiment than you realized. Oh, I think we can assume now that it was all some sordid now that all the sordid details have been brought to light. This has been a very long and profound trial, and I'm pleased to say you're absolved of all guilt.
This whole experience has taught me a very great but painful lesson. I've been, me, this dedicated scientist, this devotee of natural philosophy. I've been selfish and self-centered, and above all, a fool. Professor, I've spent my life thinking of nothing but my research, misguidedly believing that I could do whatever I set my mind to, despite my lack of talent. And the worst of it is, in the process I've caused others pain and misery. Others who are far, far greater people than I.
No, Professor, that's not true.
What?
Don't tar yourself with the same brush as Trevor. What happened was his doing and his alone. This outcome is his fate, but not yours. You're not to blame in any way.
Lord Van Zeeks.
And the derision with which he referred to you earlier, calling you a fool, talentless even.
I
had
was
that
completely correct.
The man has no idea how talentless you are. To believe in yourself and work your fingers to the bone to realize your dreams. That's laudable, not laughable. No one has the right to deride another for such choice.
Oh. Thank you, Baroque.
He just fucking Van Zeek's just like shoulder checks Cosmo as like, give his key to that weird German man. Listen, don't ask questions. Don't come home tonight. So
here's
wait.
$30.
Oh,
Have
wait,
yourself a nice
German.
dinner.
I need like 6 hours. I know what you're thinking. Long amount of time, yes.
Extremely.
There will be a lot of broken glass.
So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury,
Oh, I forgot. Yes, my lord.
it is the court's recommendation that you find the defendant not guilty of the charge which he stands accused. I presume there are no objections.
I want one of them to just be like, actually, yeah, fuck them.
None from me, my lord.
Certainly not. This trial has really made me think, but this is the right decision.
It's all been proven methodically and rigorously. I have no misgivings whatsoever.
Why does this guy have 6 different medals on his fucking jacket?
Science man!
What's that? He's done, is he? It's all over?
Gone.
God.
I don't know what's become of the yard these days. I don't recognize the place. And it's not my onset to mention.
Very well. In that case, I hereby pronounce the defendant not
God. Guilty.
guilty. I have to say it dramatically.
The text is different and everything. Oh God, the fireworks! I forget every time.
Bah! Who's let these off in my court? The old Bailey's on fire!
Again.
Court is adjourned.
Half expecting like doors to slam in from the side of the screen when he says that. It's over. That was some trial. (24th October, 4:33 p.m. The old Bailey defendant's antechamber.
On my side, it cut out while you were doing that, and it was a pretty cool effect, actually. It went like,
Incredible.
It like, it went out and came back in like 3 times.
Wild. Professor, what a splendid outcome, isn't it? Not really.
Oh, it is. It is. That creepy little girl will grow up without a mother. Congratulations, Professor Hairbrain.
Mr. Nardo, Miss Susato, I am truly beside myself with gratitude. How can I ever thank you enough? I'm just glad it's all been cleared up, that you realize you were just caught up in a bad situation. Ah! Right now, you know, if I had that research grant money, I'd give it to the whole lot of you, every penny. Well, that's
not
very
what it-
kind, but I'm just a student, so...
We don't need any financial reward. Your acquittal is more than enough.
Oh,
Unlike
dear.
Sholmes, we're not
Oh.
broke.
Oh, what can I do? Aha! How about this, as a memento? The paper about my hypothesis is inside.
Hell
This-
yeah, take it.
This tiny magazine. Well, just as a memento then. Thank you.
I've been wondering, Professor. What are you going to do now?
Back to the drawing board, I think. Oh my, yes. What am I going to do? My hypothesis and my great machine lie in ruins. But still, it's been too long since I was last in London, so perhaps I'll enjoy some sightseeing. I must explore the great exhibition while I'm here too, and see if new inspiration hits me.
I know it won't happen.
Who?
Can you go in the history? I wanted to see what Sasada was saying. Oh yes, that's a wonderful idea. I was about to say I really want
Yeah.
Baroque to show up and just drag him off. I can't allow that, and he's here. It's like the
Well,
game
Lord
read
Van
my
Zieks,
mind
what are
as
you
I was
doing in
about to
here?
say it. Drag him away.
Baroque!
Take him. I'm sorry you had to go through that, Al.
Well, if I'm honest, it was terrifying. You were like a great demon behind your bench there, snarling down on your prey.
An apt description. He just picks up the fucking. He just picks him up. Oh my God! Where are we going? You're one of the few true friends I have. I couldn't leave it to anybody else to handle the prosecution or the defense.
Sorry? Or the defense? Did I just hear that right? I always knew you had my best interest at heart. Don't worry. How about you show me around while I'm here in town? It's been a long time since we left university. We have a lot to catch up on.
Please say yes. Listen, Albert. In a few days, your acquittal will be made official. When that happens, you must head straight to Dover. I'll accompany you.
What?
From there, you'll cross the channel and make your way back to Germany. I've already purchased the tickets.
You don't want to be in London for what is about to happen next.
Honey, a big storm's coming.
But no, hold on a minute, Baroque. What about the great exhibition? This is the chance of a lifetime for me. I want to look around.
No sightseeing, Albert. Give up on the idea.
Oh, wait, because he's just found innocent and wants to get him the fuck out of town.
Oh, the Reaper's curse. Right.
Sometimes it's hard to see any warmth in those eyes, Baroque.
That's just, there's no heterosexual explanation for him to say that.
Lord Van Zieks? What's all this about?
A necessary precaution. Yes, I think I understand.
You do?
Well, Iris told me that when you met Lord Van Zieks at his office some days ago, he asked how Mr. Natsume was doing.
Yes, that's right. I remember being surprised at the time, and thinking it was nice of him to ask.
The point is, Mr. Natsume is still alive and well, even though it's been more than 6 months now since he stood trial with the Reaper as the prosecutor.
Ah, you mean the Reaper's influence doesn't stretch overseas?
Those in the Reaper's sights meet their ends days or sometimes months after their acquittal. That's been the pattern up till now. Of course, we know that both Mr. Natsume and Gina were completely innocent. True. And perhaps that governs the Reaper's actions. The truly innocent are spared. But I don't want to take any chances with a close personal friend.
Baroque!
Like the mustached Nepalese, this man should leave the country without delay. That's why I'm packing him off to Germany at once.
Right. Does your friend-shaped package get any say in it?
No! Goodness! Was this your intention all along then, Lord Van Zieks?
In court, where people think of him as the Reaper, this man seems absolutely merciless. And yet, sometimes I feel as though I don't understand him at all.
It's time to go, Albert. Back to the prison for the time being.
Who is the time being?
Does he
yes,
know about
alas.
instantaneous kinesis?
Well then, Mr. Nahador. Thank you so much for everything. Not at all, Professor. It was a pleasure getting to know you.
Best wishes, Professor Hairbrain.
Well, once the dust is settled, you must come and visit me in Germany. Anyway, goodbye for now.
Professor Hairbrain drowned at sea 3 days later. Now, my Nepalese friend.
Oh, yes? I thought you'd gone too.
We have matters to discuss. Can you spare me some time?
You want to talk with me?
I'll be waiting in the courtroom in 10 minutes.
God, I hope he's not fucking dead or something. Well, that was strange. For some reason, I didn't get that sense of impending doom as he walked away this time. The Enigma, Barak von Zeeks. What does he want to discuss, I wonder? The answer awaits in the courtroom, I suppose. Here goes then. God, I hope he's not dead.
No!
Don't do this to me, game.
No! My Dracula voice!
24th October, 4:58 p.m., the Old Bailey courtroom.
Oh,
I'm in shambles
Bailey.
right now.
Okay, he's fine.
Oh,
He's right
whew.
there. He's just standing. Why are you pissing yourself? I'm fine. So, are you satisfied? You saved the guy. Is Cosmo gonna cut open the Iron Mask with a sword?
God, I hope so.
I
That'd be
hope
sick as
so.
hell.
You saved the guileless scientist from a great injustice.
Yes, I think so. I'm relieved at least that the man's innocence could be proven.
Anyway, I imagine you've been wondering where my animosity toward you Nepalese comes from. I
Yeah,
bet
a
you're
bit.
wondering why I'm racist.
Yeah, a bit. Well, at first I thought you just didn't like me. I imagine you saw me as a pretentious child from an unimportant land who had no business being here. And you'd have been right. But now I think differently. You clearly know our ways, so I would guess that some specific incident led to your thorough dislike of my race. Will you tell me
Wow.
what happened, please?
Was it a Japanese person that was the professor? Is that why they kept his identity
Yeah.
as the secret?
I think so.
It was Mika Toba. It can't be because he's dead. But
Shit.
who is it?
I gotta know.
What Japanese person is the professor? The professor! Was it the person that Mikotoba came here with?
Must have been.
I thought I'd never hear that name in this courtroom again, to be honest. He took your brother's life. Clint. My brother was Clint Van Zeeks. A bad name, but what are you gonna do? 16 years ago, when I was still just in my teens. He was already the director of prosecutions and a key member of the judiciary. I looked up to him. He was everything I aspired to be. He was involved in the establishment of justice systems in foreign countries as well. There were exchange programs between Britain and other nations then too, to share knowledge and ideas. A part of one of those programs, 3 judicial students came to Britain from your homeland, the Empire of Japan. It was Mikotoba,
And-
Jugoku,
And
and
some third
a
person.
third person that we've never heard about, which must be the professor, right?
Yeah, must be.
Oh, he was 16 years ago then. One of them could have been my father. He left when I was a baby. Of course, I remember Dr. Mikotoba well. I had no idea. I was a minor at the time, training at the prosecutor's office.
What? Why? Huh? Why'd they
One
let
day,
that happen?
I was very cool. I was the coolest 16-year-old you've ever seen. I wore my hat backwards. One day, Clint introduced me to the 3 visiting Nepalese. So, you've actually met my father? He and his colleagues were polite and amicable. They were adept at their work and exacting in their standards. It was my first encounter with the Nepalese spirit, and it made a very great impression upon me. But 6 years later, that's when it happened. The investigation was going nowhere. There were no suspects, even, just an ever-growing list of victims. And in the end, my brother became one of them. The last, in fact, before the case was finally resolved.
I'm so sorry, Lord Van Zeeks, truly.
Clint was always ready to put his life on the line for justice anyway. So he wouldn't have wanted it any other way. He lost his life to the killer, but it was his victory in the end. Sure.
Sure, man.
For me personally, though, it was a great loss. Like that comic strip. I found myself in a very dark place indeed. I just started killing guys. When I finally found out the killer's identity, the reason why no one had been able to catch the man sooner ceased to be such a mystery. He'd been hiding in plain sight all the time.
In plain sight.
May Cosmo cut it open. Are you aware of the political events 10 years ago? It was a period of extremely sensitive diplomacy between the British and Japanese empires.
A new treaty was being forged, I think.
Correct. The Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation was being concluded.
Okay, now if that's a real one, we could actually pinpoint this now.
Hold on. Let's find out.
So I'll pull that back up so you can actually read it.
The Anglo-Japanese Treaty. The Anglo-Japanese Friendship Treaty of 1854 is the first one that Wikipedia says. The Anglo-Japanese Friendship Treaty was the first treaty between Great Britain and Japan.
Oh, so this would have been the next one, I guess. Because that was being
1854?
Suspicious. But yeah, I think
There was a 1902 treaty.
I feel like that's too late, but I don't remember.
Yeah, that one feels a little bit back. That was the Anglo-Japanese alliance. I don't know, it's kind of loose. The leaders of both countries were deep in extensive political discussions. Which is why this particular killer's appearance in court was conducted as a closed trial. If the British public had known the identity of the killer, not only would the treaty have been in jeopardy, but our two nations could very well have ended up at war.
That could never happen. What? A war between Britain and Japan?
Oh, honey. But that would mean... Oh my! You mean to say the professor was... Did you never notice that 3 men came and 2... Oh my god, I'm
When
moving.
the trial reached its conclusion
Whoa.
earlier, I thought to myself, yes, it's time.
He has the key.
Yeah, I must have gotten it from 2 spells.
Time for you to come face to face with this hideous monster. I borrowed the key for the mask from the proprietress of the Waxwork Museum. So see for yourselves now. Confirm it with your own eyes. The truth that's been hidden this past decade.
Damn, that key goes deep in that mask.
That's the professor?
Yes, that's him.
I forgot how British
Until
Riosuke
The
is.
thought never even crossed my mind. That the mass murderer whose crimes shook Britain as never before, was Japanese.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. That face. I feel as though I've seen it somewhere. It's strangely familiar.
Kazuma
Hey,
knows him.
hey, Kazuma, are you good? Is this like your dad or something?
It could be. Take off your mask too. It's a mask taken off kind of day. Cool threads.
Father.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
What? Father?
Van Zeeks doesn't know this is Kazuma either.
That's why they were specifically like, yeah, you, Cosmo, have to be the one to come here. Yeah, Ryunosuke.
Yeah,
already-
man. we
whatever.
knew this the whole time.
Whatever.
My best
You know
friend,
what?
Kazuma Asogi. After a whole year, finally his memories returned.
I love
Existed there
Kazuma's
before
theme.
me.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's so dramatic.
Ryunosuke.
Hey, man. I've been doing a mediocre job.
I haven't
Hello
lost yet.
My friend.
Kazuma-sama!
Judicial Assistant Mikotoba.
Okay, a little informal. Could have said Sasato.
It's been a very long road.
1 week.
Thank you. Thank you for guiding my friend here when I could not.
It was an honor.
You want your sword back?
I knew
I'm
you
keeping
wouldn't die
it.
that easily.
That's what I was saying. Like, no way he just
I
slipped
owe
and
you
died.
thanks, too.
Well, got pushed,
For
but
taking
still.
Still
good care
very
of
weird that
that in my
Sherlock or
absence.
Herlock lied about it.
Oh,
Yeah, this is your sword. You want it back? Haruma.
great blade of the Asogi clan, passed down through the generations. When we left Japan, this sword was at my friend's side. A Japanese man's katana is his soul, and he couldn't be parted from it. But then, when the incident happened, it was Susato-san's wish that I inherit the sword, and I've kept it with me ever since, along with my memories of the friendship we shared.
Doesn't really seem like that should have been her choice, but
With this by my
Who
side,
else was gonna make
I
it?
always felt that you were watching over me somehow.
He uses it to kill Van Zeeks.
if Van Zeeks is in the room still, just kind of like,
I've made it. At last. Father. Are you saying... Surely not. You mean... You knew all this time? I'm looking at it. But... I still can't believe it. This mass murderer is Kazuma's father.
I wonder if there was any hints. Is he gonna cut the waxwork? Madam Two Spells worked hard on that.
yeah, that was pretty cool, I guess. Symbolic.
Kazuma-sama.
Now he's got two swords.
Swords.
Ryunosuke, we
They
have
call me
much
Cosmo
to
Two
talk
Swords.
about. But now is not the time. I'll be seeing you. That's all Kazuma said. Before he turned and left us there, in the courtroom.
That was pretty weird, right?
So he's the living after image of the man who took my brother's life, is he? You could have said son, but sure.
Yes, Kazuma Asugi, my best friend.
3 months ago, when Lord Strongheart introduced us, I had an inkling there was something there, some connection.
But why did Lord Strongheart do that? Why did he make Kazuma Lord Van Zeek's apprentice? And when he was suffering amnesia, too?
The man was apprehended, even executed,
Allegedly.
but his legacy just won't die. That's the sad truth. I wonder if, like, there was any hints about it being Kazuma's dad.
Not that I know of. Like, I
don't
always
remember any. I remember them talking about how, 16 years ago, like, three of us
3 people came
went
over.
over
And, like,
there.
Since Susato like knew Kazuma before, I had thought like maybe it could have been related to him, but like I hadn't thought very hard about it.
Anyway, that's all I had to say. I thank you for meeting with me as I asked.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, bitch. I still hate you. Oh God. He turned into dust.
This has not solved my racism. 10 years ago, my grandmother took me to the railway station. We were there to meet my father from the train. For me, it was the first time I'd ever seen him.
Poor Susato-san. All this is tied up with painful memories for her, too. She's never talked about this with me before, though.
It took time to adjust to having father around, but just when I was starting to get used to it, he called me into his study one day. He told me that a great friend of his had passed away in London.
That's one way to say it.
And that the friend had left behind a son. A boy, 7 years my senior. Father told me the boy had made a promise to his late father, so he was studying to become a defense lawyer. I wanted to help, so I studied to become a qualified judicial assistant. As I'm sure you've worked out, that young man's name was Kazuma Asugi. It was John Cena. Boop. And so you see, that's how he and I met.
For a brief moment, my great friend had returned, only to disappear again all too soon. But in that fleeting encounter, something stirred. Something that had been dormant for a long time, as if great wheels had been set in motion. I could almost hear them creaking into life. In some ways, it was the end of a chapter, but in many, it was the start of a new one.
Please give me a to be continued or the end. Okay, thank God.
I was gonna say, this feels very endy, but like, were they setting up for a third game that just never happened or something?
No, there's another case after this one.
Oh.
Where we actually
Well, that
solve...
makes more sense.
I assume this solves the greater mysteries over the course of the 2 games. Like, what the fuck happened with the Hound of the Baskervilles? Why did Herlock lie about everything?
And why was Giselle Brett important?
Yeah, exactly. Why was she so
And
important
did
that
we
she
ever
showed
tell
up in
Iris
both
about her
games?
dad?
We still need to do that. All right. I'm a little concerned with the title Twisted Karma and his last bow as the next fucking case, but
Maybe it's last bow and Karma's just running out of gift wrap.
could be. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good night. We'll catch you tomorrow for the beginning of Pokemon Sea Glass. Bye.
Goodbye. Ow, my bones. My bones are made of